Want to know what kind of orgasms you have? Or how powerful a tiger's bite really is? Or why Earth is slowly moving away from the sun? Keep watching, we've got the answers. 1. The methods used by ancient Egyptians to make their structures level were extremely accurate. The base of the Great Pyramid of Giza is level to within 2.1 centimeters, meaning that the pyramid is level to within just 0.0052 degrees. 2. Before founding KFC, Harlan Sanders, aka Colonel Sanders, had a brief career as a lawyer. That ended when he got in a fistfight with his own client, while in court in front of the judge. 3. Adolf Hitler married Eva Braun the night before they committed suicide together. The relationship had previously been hidden from the public, so as to create the image that he was 100% devoted to his political mission. 4. Rudolf Verba escaped Auschwitz concentration camp with a friend, Alfred Wetzler, to warn other Jews of their planned extermination during the Holocaust. They escaped while working outside the camp by hiding in a pile of wood for 3 days. When a search for them was called off, they trekked 80 miles to Slovakia to provide testimony. The resulting Verba-Wetzler report became an important piece of evidence at the Nuremberg war crimes trial in 1946. 5. Leonardo DiCaprio was named after Leonardo da Vinci. DiCaprio's mother first felt her son kick inside her stomach during pregnancy whilst looking at a Leonardo da Vinci painting, so his dad declared, "That's our boy's name." 6. A person's nipples are in line with their earlobes. Next time you look in the mirror, see for yourself. 7. Here's another nipple fact. English singer-songwriter Harry Styles has 4 nipples. Any nipples in addition to a person's normal 2 are called supernumerary nipples. Mark Wahlberg, Lily Allen, and Bill Paxton all have supernumerary nipples too. 8. H.H. Holmes is widely considered to be the United States' first serial killer. Real name Herman Mudgett, he mostly killed people in order to take control of their property. He built a house now known as Murder Castle, which he equipped with secret passages, trapdoors, soundproof rooms, gas jets to asphyxiate victims, and a kiln to cremate the bodies. 9. The 3-point seatbelt was developed by Volvo engineer Niles Boland. Although the design was patented, Volvo decided to let other car manufacturers to use the design for free. This was because Volvo recognized that doing so would be for the greater good of society. 10. Tigers' canine teeth can measure up to 3.5 inches long, and they can bite with force exceeding 1,000 psi, which is capable of crushing or bending even the strongest materials. 11. Up to 1,382 shipping containers are lost overboard container ships each year. The figure is based on 3-year averages calculated over a 12-year period, according to a World Shipping Council report. 12. The Leaning Tower of Pisa has survived 4 strong earthquakes despite its significant lean. This has been attributed to dynamic soil structure interaction, whereby the very same soil attributes that caused the lean in the first place help to protect it from significant seismic events. 13. The term cloud computing was inspired by the cloud symbol that has often been used to represent the internet in network diagrams and flowcharts. 14. Biological men outnumber biological women throughout the world, in what should be a 50-50 split. For every 100 men, there were only 98.2 women as of 2021, according to data from Statista. That ratio has essentially remained constant since the year 2000. 15. Container freight rates increased approximately 616% between April 2020 and September 2021, from $1,446 to $10,361, reflecting how disrupted the supply chain became throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. 16. To combat jaywalking, Canadian automobile insurance provider SAAQ installed a digital billboard at a bus stop in Quebec, which transformed into an X-ray screen showing the person standing in front of it. Having caught the person's attention and engagement, the screen then showed the person's X-ray figure suddenly being struck by a car, followed by a message that read, "Bone versus steel, you don't stand a chance. Crossit Intercepts." 17. Stephen King, who wrote Shawshank Redemption, never cashed his royalty check for the film. Instead, he mailed it back to the film's director, Frank Darabont, with a note that said, "In case you ever need bail money. Love, Steve." 18. Gothmog, the leader of the orcs in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, was designed to resemble Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced and incarcerated movie producer. This was because Weinstein, who was to be the original producer, had threatened to replace director Peter Jackson if he didn't combine the 3 books into one film. Peter Jackson ultimately retained his directorship position and engaged with New Line Cinema to produce the films instead. 19. It takes 8 minutes 20 seconds for the sun's light to reach Earth. 20. There's a key difference between mass and weight. The mass of a body is the amount of matter contained within it. So your mass will be the same no matter where in the universe you are. The weight of a body depends on the effect of gravity. Hence, weight is equal to an object's mass multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. 21. Ian Fleming, who created James Bond, also played a key role in one of the greatest deceptions of World War II. While serving in the British Naval Intelligence Division, he was tasked with creating a deception plan to mislead the Germans about the Allies' invasion of Sicily. Operation Mincemeat, as it was called, involved planting false documents on a dead body and dropping it off the coast of Spain, with the hope that the documents would be discovered by German spies. The operation was a success, and the false information helped to divert German resources away from the real invasion site. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more. 22. NBA player James Harden has never missed the league's playoffs in his 14 seasons, according to ESPN. 23. There are 1,084,170 words in the 7 Harry Potter novels. 24. The global average for solving word game, Wordle, is 4.016 guesses, according to Faux Tutorial. 25. Snakes smell by flicking their tongue. They have an extremely sensitive smell sensor called the Jacobson's organ, which sits right above the roof of a snake's mouth. When the snake flicks its tongue, it gathers chemicals from the air, which the Jacobson's organ then processes when the tongue re-enters its mouth. 26. There are 2 types of orgasms. Type 1, which are the most common, involve a series of 6 to 15 regular contractions of high intensity occurring over about 20 to 30 seconds, according to Psychology Today. Type 2 orgasms are experienced by less people and involve the same regular contractions experienced by type 1 orgasms, along with a series of irregular contractions over 30 to 90 seconds. 27. South Korea's former president Park Geun-hye was sentenced to 24 years in prison after being found guilty of abuse in power and coercion. 28. In Europe, there's a 6-page rule book describing the standards of cucumbers. One such standard is that for every 10 centimeters, a quality class 1 cucumber must not have more than 10 millimeter curvature. 29. Upper Egypt refers to southern Egypt, and Lower Egypt refers to northern Egypt. The Nile River flows from south to north, so upper refers to upstream, which is south, and lower refers to downstream, which is north. 30. A pensioner was killed by a flying cow in India in April 2023. Yes, you heard that right. As it happens, a cow wandered onto a nearby train track and was struck by a speeding train, which launched it 30 meters into the air. Parts of the cow landed on the pensioner, who was relieving himself at the time, and killed him instantly. 31. Rats have a total of 16 teeth, 4 incisors, and 12 molars. The incisors, which sit at the front, grow continuously and are used for gnawing. The other 12 teeth all sit behind the 4 front incisors and only grow once. They're used to chew food. 32. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is essentially a universal rule when it comes to screws, nuts, and bolts. But there are a few exceptions, including some pipe fittings, which you have to twist anti-clockwise to tighten. 33. One set of parents in New Zealand tried to name their child Tallulah Does the Hula from Hawaii. Rejecting that, New Zealand's Registrar of Births, Deaths, and Marriages also rejected the proposed baby name Sex Fruit. 34. Zugzwang, which is German for compulsion to move, is also a situation in chess where a player must make a seriously disadvantaged or even losing move. 35. The hawkmouth caterpillar transforms itself to look like a pit viper snake when it feels threatened. The caterpillar is harmless, but it looks fierce to ward off potential predators. 36. The words 11 and 12 have evolved from Old English language, which translated to 1 left after 10 and 2 left after 10. 37. A couple spent 20 years planting more than 2 million trees to create a new rainforest in Brazil. What started as a barren plot of land has transformed into a luscious rainforest. The area now has status as a private National Heritage Reserve, and, according to a 2019 article by Metro, is home to 172 types of birds, 33 varieties of mammals, and 15 kinds of reptiles and amphibians. 38. CAPTCHA is an acronym that stands for Completely Automated Public Turing Test to Tell Computers and Humans Apart. 39. The Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, was heavily involved in the making of hit television show Breaking Bad. Showrunner Vince Gilligan wanted the show to be realistic, but not so realistic that it would become a tutorial for people on how to actually manufacture illicit drugs. So consulted with the DEA to help edit out key steps in the drug-making process, so they wouldn't be shown on camera. 40. Servoxwa is the largest lake in the Faroe Islands. The lake essentially hangs over the ocean and rests on the edge of a cliff. 41. If Earth stopped spinning for even a split second, it would cause everything to suddenly jolt eastward. That would include rocks and oceans, which would lead to earthquakes and tsunamis. In fact, a person standing at the equator would fly about 460 meters in a single second, or approximately 1,029 miles per hour. 42. A weed is simply a plant that is growing where it is not wanted, and thus not deliberately cultivated. That said, there are lists that specify invasive species that includes weeds. 43. There are 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, and 6 levels in the residence of the White House. There are also 28 fireplaces. 44. Earth is slowly moving away from the sun by approximately 6 centimeters every year. The main reason for this is that to produce light and heat, the sun burns its own resources, which reduces its mass, which affects its gravitational pull and effect on Earth, as per live science. 45. Mason Cox, an American-born AFL player in Australia, is the only professional player to wear sunglasses during games. They are specially designed for the 211-centimeter ruckman, following several eye surgeries related to football injuries that almost left him blind. 46. You thought interest rates in the United States or Australia were high. Argentina's official cash rate was increased to 73.58% in March 2023. 47. The reason you feel sleepy after sex is the body's release of hormones like oxytocin and prolactin, which can promote pleasant and relaxing feelings. Sex also reduces cortisol levels, which are associated with stress. 48. Ancient Romans mainly spoke Greek, not Latin. 49. J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit novels, was a devout Roman Catholic. He described The Lord of the Rings as a fundamentally religious and Catholic work, unconsciously so at first, but consciously in the revision. 50. The Mars Climate Orbiter mission by NASA failed because of a mistake in unit conversion, with the $125 million ship literally vanishing. The root cause was a simple mistake in unit conversion. The spacecraft, which was supposed to study Mars's atmosphere, was designed and built using the metric system, but some of the navigation software used by the spacecraft's engineers relied on the imperial system. This mismatch led to the spacecraft being off course by nearly 90 miles, 140 kilometers as it approached Mars. This error was enough to cause the spacecraft to disintegrate upon entry into the Martian atmosphere. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Until next time, peace.